What's going on, you guys? This video is a clip from a recent trading mentorship group where a member is asking me about how to deal with red streaks and how to get out of drawdown. This is a little bit of a longer video that is more audio forward, so there's not going to be a lot happening on the screen, but I provide this member with a number of tactical solutions to actually get out of drawdown, things that you can do, things that you can watch for, and ways to prevent excessive drawdown in the future. If you guys are new to the channel, my name is Kyle. I'm a full-time futures trader. Been at it for about 10 years now. I'm also the founder of Opinicus. Hope you enjoy this video and get some value from it. If you have any questions, reach out to me in the Traders Think Tank. We have a free 14-day trial at the link down in the description below. Again, thanks for watching this video, and I hope you enjoy.
I wanted to ask, I feel like I hit really good periods of consistency. And then every now and then I'll hit like a red streak, maybe for somewhere between like 3 to 10 days. And that would be like the period of inconsistency that throws me off. I was wondering what you think of that, if you have any tips or tricks, that kind of thing. Like right now I'm on a green streak. I'm doing pretty good. I'm staying consistent. And then the red streak comes every now and then and I got to adjust.
Yeah, I think that, that's a pretty common cycle. And the one thing to really watch for, you gotta, with any drawdown, so any sort of red streak, as you're referring to it here, we want to try and understand why that is happening. And one of the only ways to really figure that out is to really look into your data. So a couple of things that come to mind with drawdown is, number one, first thing, did market conditions change? Right? Are we trading something else that we weren't trading a few weeks ago? And that can be backdrop. Maybe the volatility has really picked up, right? So anytime we shift from like bearish to a more bullish environment, those turning points are typically sticking areas for a lot of developing traders, because it's an adjustment period. You got to get used to the new thing, right? And part of that is becoming a little complacent. If you're always used to the longs and then now the market is giving better shorts and you don't adjust quickly enough, then you're going to be taking a lot of losses while you kind of figure that out. And then leads me into the next point that can really cause drawdown or those red streaks is just like I said, complacency, just in general, complacency with your execution, right? It tends to be that on a winning streak, on a nice run, on a good green streak, we kind of loosen up a little, right? We may not be as tight in the process. We may not double checking everything that we're typically double checking. We just get a little bit looser with it. So that's that complacency. And what happens is, if you're not super careful, you'll start finding yourself, maybe you break one of your rules, just you kind of slip, you break a rule, you get away with it, right? You make some money on that trade. It's like, oh, no big deal. Like everything's going well right now. We're on a green streak. We break a little rule. We still make some money. It's all good. On to the next. But that little deviation right there is it's like a crack in the armor, right? It's like a crack in the foundation, because it'll start to spread. And I've lived this one many times, and it's why you always have to be making sure that you're in high quality setups and you're really just respecting your system. And in those scenarios where you may have deviated from your system or broken your rules, but still made money during your review, you got to be honest with yourself and say, yeah, I made some money here, but the market may take this money back from me, because that is typically how it goes. So just have the awareness and try and stay on top of it. So any scenario where you find yourself kind of deviating from your system or breaking your rules, that very next session, the game plan and the goal for that next session, and maybe even the next week, is just to make sure that you've stepped back within the system, you step back within the framework, and you're not starting to build a habit of kind of deviating, because it's such a slippery slope. And not only that, it takes a long time to get back to where you were, right? So you kind of you mark this high water mark in P&L, and you start to go into the drawdown. In some instances, you don't even realize you've broken your habits. you've deviated from your process, and it only comes out, through a weekend of review or through an extensive review period. And you're like, oh, wait a minute. I'm totally not even trading the framework anymore. Like what happened here? And it was never like a big deviation. It's just, it's frequent, just little missteps, right? Misstep. And then next thing you know, you're way off the path. So that's another common one that I've experienced and that I've seen. So maybe that one is relatable. And then the other one is just making sure that we're sticking with quality of setup, making sure that we are actually taking the A+, and if we don't have a definition for the A+, then either using the criteria that I posted or just kind of creating your own for your playbook and sticking with it. And then with that, we can kind of see, all right, well, am I taking a lot of B quality trades and understanding that, these may lead to more frequent losses than like an A+ quality trade. That can lead to some drawdown. So there's a couple of different angles that you can hit there. And it all stems from just looking or the way you find it and kind of get rid of it is by looking at the data during those drawdown periods and really understanding. And then also the other thing I would add, this is kind of a long rant here, but the other thing I would add is when things are going good right now, make sure you're taking the time to actually document and record what is working well, because in those drawdown periods, you want to be able to reflect like, okay, what was I doing when things were going well? And that's another thing I noticed with traders, and I've definitely been guilty of it before too, is when things are going well, we don't really want to review. At least that's been the case for me. A lot of the times it's like, why do I want to spend my time doing this? Like it's going well. And I've seen that in other developing traders as well. And it's just important to still be recording what it is we're doing, whether it be Trader Vault or some other software or something else like that, just so we, again, have that archive and know the details of our setup. So hopefully some of that resonates. But that's what I would say about, drawdown, and then kind of understanding the drawdown, and eventually you never really, there's always going to be some drawdown here and there, but we can start to, shrink it, right? So it's not blowing accounts, or it's not, putting a huge dent in our P&L, and it gets smaller and smaller and smaller. And then eventually it's just like a small little pullback, and then you're back into fresh highs.
Yeah, for sure. That's awesome. Yeah, that's very helpful. Thank you. I definitely relate to the market conditions issue. Like I feel that a lot of the times if I hit a drawdown, and then I look at the backdrop, I'm like, oh, this has shifted, and I have failed to adapt,
Yeah. The other thing I want to add in there really quick is in drawdown, traders, they realize they're in drawdown and they start to switch up even more. Right. And so they kind of resist the drawdown. And a lot of the time, I mean, the common one that we kind of see and think about is like you may be in drawdown and you may just want to add a little bit of size just to recover quickly. That's like the common psychological one, right? But outside of that, there are more deviations. Like you may be taking more aggressive trades than you normally would be, or you may be taking more risk than you usually would. And so we really just have to watch out for things like that. If the drawdown is due to a loss on a good trade, like the write-up says, we don't want to be, that's not the time to be switching up our behavior, right? We do not want to be switching up our behavior at that time.
Yeah, it's just a cost of business at that point.
Yeah, exactly. It's just normal. It's normal variance. There's nothing wrong with it at all.
Amazing. Thank you so much, sir. I feel as time goes, my consistency gets better and my red streaks get shorter. And every time they do come, I'm learning something new,
That's good. Yeah, that's beautiful.
Yeah, I've definitely noticed. I appreciate it. I've definitely noticed like sometimes my execution will get a little sloppy, or I'm going to get like itchy to change up the framework. I'm like, okay, I want to change this up and I want to lock in this and do that. But just got to keep going with the things that are working.
Yeah. And then remember, we talked about this in a prior TMG, but trading really is like it's a pretty there's a lot of components that have to be leveled up, right? I mean, just off the top of my head, you have like entry, trade management, exits, the idea generation. Yeah, like there's so many different areas that have to be developed that it's not just one big thing that kind of levels up consistency. There's going to be a lot of plateaus, and the leveling up process, if you will, is not it's not linear at all. I mean, there's going to be times where you feel like you made a big jump, and then there's going to be times where it's like, man, I feel like I've not made any progress in months. And you just have to continue to stick with it and trust that, like, on the back end and the subconscious, things are being processed and filtered, and your mind is working through it. A lot of this is there's a big time component that honestly cannot be skipped. It's part of how humans recognize and kind of internalize different patterns, especially in something like trading, where there's so many different details and nuances, right? There's so many different things that we have to account for. So,
Incredible, sir. Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
yeah, you bet, man. You bet.